It was 1,600 press ups and 2,000 sit-ups per day. So I was trying to see if something happens, whether I'll be able to sustain the thing record that I left. But we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear with you. We are not playing around. As a nation, I'm a legislator. I represent everyone from a national history point of view. So when you see me at times bringing these issues up, you probably think, oh, Honorable Mliswa is probably trying to just raise a storm. But in my taking off, I said that I'll stand with the people and I'll represent national interests. So it's like that. People with disabled, they approach me for their concerns. Other people also approach me on many other issues. Joshua Nkomo, housing cooperative, they also approach me and so forth. I'm unlucky because I think I talk too much, and because of that I attract a lot of pleas from people. My statement, a very good morning to you, President. Thank you for taking time to join me. To maintain law and order and to institute practices endanger effective prevention, investigation, and detention of crime. And so goes the ZRP mission statement. It is a statement that inspired code. What is this so-called victims and the ranks? The police. Yes, the ZRP has been prone to leadership scandals emanating from the Chiwuri era, whilst they have done their utmost to spruce up their image through vibrant public relations campaign and active social media interaction. The good they are doing is being eroded by the dark allegation, consistently doing various commissioner generals with two to be exact. Maybe I problem. Two. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Well, to be exact, two commissioner generals that share a long history of working together and camaraderie. Did this relation extend to divulging into unscrupulous acts of corruption and abuse of office? Well, let us see. The allegations are there. Looking back at Commissioner General Matanga's illustrious career in the ZRP, we can witness his rise through the ranks, where he literally started from the bottom. The speed which he rose whilst celebrated is questionable in its own accordance to set the process and the procedure. It is alleged that while C.G. Matanga was Deputy Commissioner General Administration during the General Chiwuri's era, he sourced goods and services from personally known friends and acquaintances for self-aggrandizement. These dealings are said to be fraught with irregularities, and attempts are alleged to have been made by Matanga to have these dealings swept under the carpet, whilst yet other dealings conducted by the former C.G. Chiwuri himself are alleged to have been torn to shreds to conceal the evidence. He presided over the tearing of information while he was Commissioner General. It is well known within the police ranks, because you cannot bring Chiwuri to court without Matanga being there, because he was Commissioner General in charge of administration. And finance is also one of the departments that falls under administration. So he signed for everything. So the moment you bring Chiwuri to court, Chiwuri will say, but I followed due process, which the Commissioner General, Deputy Commissioner General Admin in charge of finance was appending their signature to. So how can I be wrong? So you must understand why he was keen to shred that. Sometime in December 2019, C.G. Matanga, in the company of his Chief Staff Officer, Transport and Logistics Commissioner, Silvester, we give names when we told him. It is alleged that he paid a visit to Croco Motors with intent to purchase 80 operation vehicle without following the due tender process and procedure. in his personal, instructed Croco Motors to brand the aforementioned vehicles in the ZRP colors ready for collection. However, during the routine inspections at Croco Motors, Zimmer officials discovered various anomalies in the procurement process of the aforementioned vehicles. As an alarm was raised, CG Matanga is alleged to have panicked and subsequently could not make collection of the vehicles as initially agreed. Matanga is then alleged to have hastily made an attempt to institute regulated tender procedures in retrospect, but however in vain. Matanga is then to have proceeded to have payment made for 15 of the 80 ZRP branded vehicles which are currently parked at the ZRP warehouse. Transport section, whilst the remaining 65 branded vehicles remained in Croco Motors bonded warehouse in Harare. Frantic efforts by Matanga to engage Croco Motors owner Mr. Chingwena alleged to have proved fruitless, leaving Matanga exposed and in a quandary as to how to proceed. Matanga is subsequently alleged to have initiated negotiations for condonation papers for ZRP branded vehicles at the Croco Motors bonded warehouse as a way of concealing his corrupt administrative tendencies. You shall see that he is constantly seeking condonation. Okay, and condonation is when you do something and you come back to try and regularize it. And that has always been the culture, but it is deliberate condonation. So how then can you have a system which is supposed to adhere to corporate governance constantly seeking condonation? Herein lies the question. What is further extremely concerning to note is that the price paid for these vehicles by ZRP was approximately double the actual value of the vehicles from other players who were denied the opportunity to tender, that the procurement process was fraughted and fraught with irregularities whilst prejudicing the ZRP of a huge sum of money in the process. In another instance, Matanga is alleged to have approached Scanlink with the intention of purchasing command vehicles for Chief Superintendent and Assistant Commissioners at a cost of approximately $43,000 each for Chief Superintendent and $66,000 each for Assistant Commissioners. The total number of vehicles is yet to be verified. The total number, once again, acting in connivance with Commissioner Claveso, and this time with Scanlink representative, the value of the aforementioned vehicles were inflated twofold at the behest of Matanga. This price anomaly, however, came to light, and in an attempt to conceal the corruption, the police tried to engage Scanlink to reimburse the value of the inflated amount. It is further alleged that Matanga is the recipient of 5 residential stands at Santon Development near Westgate in Harare, obtained through alleged corrupt means through one Felix Vinyads. Furthermore, it is believed that Matanga is a beneficiary of further stands through the mayor of Harare, Herbert Gomba, to be precise, which I know. Matanga is also alleged to have been involved in road traffic accident that caused his top of the range vehicles to be written off and replaced whilst police stations suffer from lack of transport to carry out investigation challenges. You know that he is an alcoholic and he's never been arrested for driving while drunk. If you follow the accidents he's had, it's in the evening when he's drunk and so forth. Yet he's supposed to be the custodian of law and order. So why is the Commissioner General not arrested or taken to court when he has these many accidents? And these are repaired through fiscus money, through ZRP money. Even more unsettling is an alleged alliance between Matanga and one Delish Wire for the purposes of bribery, which would appear to have sacked the Director of Special Anti-Unity in the President's Office, Tabani, as well as members of the Magistrates Court and CIO. Ladies and gentlemen, the media, there is no more judiciary to talk about. It's about threatening people, name dropping the president's name, and so forth. SACCO itself is unconstitutional. Chapter 13 of the Constitution talks about 2 authorities which can investigate: anti-corruption, Prosecutor General, and the ZRP. SACCO is unconstitutional. It has become a cartel for extorting money from people. They say to you, it's supposed to be reporting to the Prosecutor General's office. I'm a legislator. So if Chapter 13 of the Constitution talks about the Prosecutor General doing that, okay, what is the purpose of SACCO? So So it has now been created, and I'm very clear about that its agenda is extorting money, and they're threatening business people. They go to the magistrate's court, you know exactly the outcome. Ngwaya is there, Reza has been there for a long time. I appeal to the prosecutor general. If it is true that civil servants must be rotated, how come Reza has been there for more than 10 years? If it's that good, why doesn't he get moved to another court which is not performing so that it makes it better? So how can we deal with corruption when we're not rotating magistrates and prosecutors in the areas? So to me, most of the people in prison are not supposed to be in prison. It's the people who are persecuted who are supposed to be in prison. I hate to think what will happen the day the court rules that all the cases that Tabani Mpofu brought to court were unconstitutional because they don't have that. I am in the process of making an application to the Constitutional Court for the constitutionalism of SACCO. Where do they fit? So all those people have been arrested under SACCO. It's abuse of power. The president is a lawyer, in his wisdom knows who investigates and which statement. But I think people have been name dropping. Anybody who visits the president is being told, I'm coming from the president. What about these institutions which are appointed, which are supposed to be doing the mandate? What is their role? This alleged cartel is said to be causing fear and despondency to its victims who are allegedly arrested by the Z-Therapy or SACCO, and whilst placed on remand through the contacts at the courts, bribes are demanded from them to secure their release. These syndicates are believed to target those loyal to His Excellency President E.D. Mnangagwa, senior Z-Therapy officers and individuals. Why it's not the first time he's doing this. During the Mugabe era, he did it as well. A number of war veterans, senior CIO officers, police officers also came prey to this guy. What he has on him, now, the procurement violations are apparently not limited to the above listed, and it is believed that the flouting of the procurement procedures, price inflations, the indiscriminate arrest of targeted individuals, persecution, as opposed to prosecution. I'm a victim of persecution. That's when people are persecuted, I speak out. I was persecuted over 70 times. And you must understand how I feel about it. But I've always said those who persecute will be prosecuted one day. There's a difference between persecution and prosecution. There are allegations that I have officially submitted to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. You see, the point of allegation is to give an opportunity for one to be acquitted. However, in order for these allegations to be thoroughly investigated, it would require the Commissioner General Matanga to step down pending investigation to mitigate the occurrence of intimidation or evidence tampering. How does a junior officer investigate his boss while still in office? The Anti-Corruption Commission officers who investigate are police officers. So how do they go and seek a statement from the Commissioner General? So in the best practice that we know, he must step aside for the integrity of these investigations to carry on. If he's clear, he will come back. I'm looking forward to him saying, with these allegations on me, may I step aside and allow them to happen, and then at the end of the day, we will hear what the outcome is. These are allegations, just like he also has allegations on others where he's arrested. Why can't he also? And fortunately with this, he will be investigated to be arrested. In most cases, they arrest to investigate. So that process must also happen. One, he is placed with so much responsibility, and exemplary conduct is not only expected but demanded of him. He should be squeaky clean. For you to have these offices and to run them, Zimbabwe must demand people who have a good social standing, who have an impeccable record in terms of their dealings. Because right now we have people at the top preaching zero tolerance and corruption, yet they are the most corrupt. Their institutions are corrupt. So how then do you do that? I'm hoping that the Anti-Corruption Commission, and I have confidence in the chairperson, Justice Lois Matanda Moyo, to be able to judge this. I know of her judgments where she was very clear in terms of the law and what needs to be done. Many of the incidents of police insubordination can be traced to leadership vacuum in the ranks. I know there is the issue of tear gas in the buses. Do you really think that was not a message to send to say we are not happy? to the hierarchy of the police is food for thought. The majority of the members of the police are unable to function in a professional manner as demanded of them by the Constitution. I'm forced to ask again, who polices the police? Enough is not enough. Matanga must be investigated. Then I'll move to a number of issues. KM Auctions sold police vehicles on auction in 2015, and no money was received by the police for the forfeiture and unsalvageable police vehicles. Who authorized? No follow-up was done. He was involved in an accident with a combi between 2015 and 2016. We've got the dates, and the police paid for the repairs of the combi. Matanga was at fault. And Commissioner Makawachi knows. We give names. He authorized the purchase of tea smoke from South Africa for $2 million, and that the smoke was not delivered to the police. Superintendent Punch of support unit knows about it. We give names. It's not speculation. He authorized the purchase, and these are still there. Of these 2 million, which were there, are still there. In fact, they're said to be second-hand. He authorized the purchase of white tents that accommodate 500 people. 10 tents were bought for each province. These tents cannot be used. They are substandard. The price of its tent was 1.5 million. And like I said, the recent purchase of the vehicles delivery was short of 33 vehicles. And Nyasha of Price, who's no longer there, knows about it. Now you must ask why he's not there. Because the moment that you want to expose them, they then suspend you. But Price is an institution. The records are there. Purchase of lorries, buses for the police were done without going to tender. He authorized and the price was sold. Matanga reinstated Commissioner Makamachi, who was fired by the president for corruption. He is now the officer commanding Manikale. I will talk about his abuse of office in deploying police officers to Joshua Nkomo Housing Cooperative in Marimba. He had no court order. People were beaten up and still is in office. We need to understand from an abuse of office, how does a Commissioner General deploy police officers without a court order? People are beaten up, they're intimidated. Is inculcated in them to just leave their homes. All these are issues which are there. I want to respond again, so that at least if I'm arrested, you have more film stories to write. I want to respond to Delish Ngwaya's press statement, factual. He questions where I got this from. I'll give you the car that he went with, number plate, the time, and so forth. I said, I wish I was a prosecutor in this country. People would go to prison on facts. So he has made a statement. I'm responding to it with these facts. (6) 2020, car silver Toyota Corolla, number plate ABP 2323, 11:30 at Harare Remand Prison. Approximate time of arrival was 11:15. I've got the picture of the car. He stopped behind an unregistered Honda Fit, the picture we have. He approached he spoke to the officer who I'll be writing to the prisons, whose name is, who had been talking to, called Chiwaka, who is the officer in charge of Harare Central. I've got the audios of them talking. I've got the audios of him being in prison.
Now you will understand why I want to be arrested. In the next hour after this, I'll be releasing them to respond to his press statement. And the officer in charge telling him to come and being picked up by somebody else. This is the system that we are being exposed to. I've said, I've given you the number plate of the car, the timing was there, and the date. So those who want to investigate must investigate. I've written to the prosecutor general about this. He went and he met Felix Mnyarat in the office. It was not recorded. Felix Mnyarat was denied bail so that he does not interface with witnesses. And the key witnesses, this matter was a complainant who was Dennis White. He then went to think prison. You might think this and that about me, but these are the facts I'm presenting you. So I've responded, but I've said in the next hour, I'll release the audios, which are evidence. He was there. And I'm writing to the acting Commissioner General of Prisons to investigate this officer in charge. You cannot enter a prison without being recorded. You cannot enter a prison without an investigating officer. It's only the investigating officer when they want to further get information from you that they get in. But this is the system that I am a legislator. Section 119 of the Constitution is very clear in terms of my functions to uphold the provisions of the Constitution. When I do this, I invite snipers. I invite a lot of people. I'm not paid for this, but I'm doing this for national interest, for us to accept the clarion call by His Excellency that no one is above the law. The only person who enjoys immunity in this country is the president. And just last week he was talking about that no one is above the law. We get inspired, we get motivated. Being close to the president, seeing him, does not then give you the license to be corrupt at the end of the day. We have seen the president many times. We see him in his office, we see him at the farm. But you've never seen us posting pictures. What for? When we go and see him, it's about national issues. Besides me being related to the president, I must make this very clear. I've never ridden on him. I've no business from him that I've ever got. I've never asked him for anything. Because I am my own person. Politically, I'm not there because of him. So he's my Uncle Didymus in class. When he was powerful. That's why I did my politics in Marsh West, not in Manicaland or in Midlands. They know I'm a straightforward person. They know I tell the truth. That's the reason why I went to SADC in Botswana, to block Troika from coming here to tell the truth that Zimbabweans wanted a change. And there was no point reinforcing an army to come here. We believed in the president. That's why we went that far. So some of us are very clear in terms of our allegiance. But we are worried about these people. This culture of saying is surrounded by criminals and not naming them must stop using Zimbabweans. Ndaneta nemi kuti munoda kungotaura kuti vanhu vakakomberedza president ndo matsotsi. Inini ndinotaura zita, that's the difference. But neti munozviziva. Ndosati tizotaura vana Chidhau, maland barons. Chizotaura vana July moyo. Mazita avo. Kuti ndio maland barons. Because vakuru ndo vanopa land, vozopa vamwe vanhu kuti vatengese land yaya ivo vachida kuva protect. If we don't name and shame, this country is not going anywhere. I'm more than happy, I'm prepared to face anything. The only thing that can happen to me is death. But when I die, it's God's will. Don't ever write he was assassinated nekuti aitaura too much. Nguva yaMwari inenge yasvika. Zvokupinda majere izvo hatitombotya kana. Titomboendeswa ikoko kuna Mwari kuti atoti protect. I shall fight fearlessly. I shall not fear anybody. And I'm prepared to give more evidence on all these issues, like I've done. Lastly, there's been a picture which has been circulating on somebody who was beaten up, sadly and unfortunate. But the name is not mentioned. The face of the person is not known. So if anybody knows the name and the face of that person, they must report to the police and say, I beat somebody up. I've never seen one being identified by the scars at the back. Show us the scars, they show us the face and give us the name. But I can also see that people are also becoming a bit loony by following Paul Westwood. My arrest on the 70 count started with Paul Westwood when I said Chuguri was corrupt, if you remember. It's because North Shore Motors was giving a percentage to the police at the time. They would buy cars from North Shore Motors and they would get 10%. When we then realized through an audit after having bought 10% from Hammersmith Band, go to the deeds office and see if there was ever a change of ownership. The company had 1,000 in its account. I've already said this. I injected 75,000 in that account. My 50% was from a management point of view, which belonged to Hammersmith Band. His 50% is still there. The company even went under liquidation. And I've submitted my papers. It is that white man working with Chuchuhuri that got me arrested over 70 times, because the Standard ran an article saying that Chuhuri is corrupt, and from there I was arrested left, right, and center. That's for another day. That's a book. I was persecuted for saying that a commissioner general was corrupt. I'm doing it today again. Am I worried? Do I care? No, I don't. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. My first question will be on the allegations which you have presented to us. We saw the statement which you released. We saw the paper, the letter which you wrote to Zach. Is there by any chance, will you by any chance share with us maybe evidence of these allegations, for example, procurement papers from Croco Motors, so that at least when we write these stories, at least they'll have enough data?
What I've said, these are allegations which are subject to investigation. And let the people investigate. When they investigate and don't have evidence, we shall provide evidence. We want them to do their job. Even if you kill me, they are kept somewhere. The papers will still come out. Yes?
Okay. Zach is on several platforms and times accused of sleeping on the job when they are given issues to investigate in relation to corruption. How confident are you that they will do justice to these allegations you say are subject to investigation against Commissioner General Matang?
You see, the difference with me is that I put pen to paper, it becomes a record. You see, unlike people who just go on social media and speak, I make it in black and white. The same thing that I implore anybody who feels that there are allegations on me on beating somebody up or stealing cattle or doing whatever, write to the police that these are the allegations, let them investigate. So I am different. I put things in black and white on my letterhead as a member of parliament, because I'm speaking on behalf of the people. Whether they investigate or not, Zach will be known to have received this, they did not anything. Offices change. So to me, it is now on record. Whether they sweep it under the carpet, but our conscience is our master. Our conscience is our master. If we're to build this country, sanctions, yes, but corruption is worse. Corruption is worse. And we must be able to fish out all the corrupt leaders that we have, especially those who have the responsibility of enforcing the law. We cannot.
Okay, follow-up question.
Yes.
Follow-up question is, if you've noticed, Honorable Mliswa, everyone who's accused of being corrupt is alleged to have some strong links or connections with the president. Can we say the president is providing a blanket for corrupt people to do as they please? In your view, I just want your opinion on that.
Can I be honest with you? It's not a secret. I'm a cousin with the thing president. The president was the Minister of Justice, was arrested. And what did he do? Why was I not protected by him? My uncle was Minister of State Security, Dimas and Das. Why was I not protected by them? He will not. He will allow, but people name drop. I've told you, I am related to the president. I was arrested 70 times as the Minister of Justice. He controlled the courts, he controlled the Prosecutor General. I went through, I was detained. I was denied bail. So it's evident that he does not at all stand for anything which is not proper. And we must help him. That's why being a lawyer, when you tell him we have an issue, the thing NASA issue, I spoke to him about it. He said to me, write to me. And I wrote to him. He demanded a forensic audit. I'm also writing to the Auditor General to do a forensic audit on the ZRP. Because we must also get professional institutions to also play their thing part. People are name dropping too much. You see them at state occasions, you see them taking pictures with the president and so forth. The president is the president of the people. And he can have a picture taken with anyone. But they then go and lie, have been given authority. And again, we've got ministers who don't have that political clout to be able to check with you and say, is this true? If you look at the drugs deals, is somebody just being seen with the first family and using that? The moment that is seen with them, he takes pictures with them. So that he can show people, these are criminals who have been doing it for a long time. I've been with the president, this is what he said. I've been with the first lady, this is what he said. But they have a right to have pictures taken with everyone. This is where the Central Intelligence Organization of this country is finished. They could not have allowed Delishingwaya to get close to the president if they'd done proper vetting. But they are compromised.